world is a home to a plethora of fascinating ancient ruins, from crumbling cities to temples that have withstood with the test of time. Many of these ancient societies were incredibly innovative and forward thinking. There's something utterly magical about exploring the ruins of an ancient place where sophisticated and mysterious cultures once flourished before fading away. Several cultural and religious sites around the world either withstood the test of time or have been excavated and remain standing as iconic monuments for globetrotters to marvel at. From century-old temples in Greece to pre-Columbian cities in Mexico, just take a look at their meticulous city planning and incredible feats of engineering, some of which are yet to fully understand. And while there's so much we can learn from these prehistoric people, perhaps the most enchanting part is what we don't know. Some of the most captivating ancient ruins are full of 1,000-year-old mysteries that will boggle even the most curious of minds. So let's take a look at the top 10 most fascinating archaeological sites and the legendary ruins that you need to put on your bucket list. Stonehenge. Dotted along the Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, England, Stonehenge is easily one of the most recognized ancient ruins in the world. Dating back over 5,000 years, these curious stone rings are some of the oldest stone structures on the planet. Created out of sandstone, they are ensconced in mystery. Who built them and why is still largely unknown. Two popular theories maintain that Stonehenge was used as a site for religious rituals or otherwise to monitor the movements of the sun and the moon. The archaeological site of Stonehenge has many different meanings to people today. Its ring of standing stones is a masterpiece of engineering, and building it would have taken huge effort from hundreds of well-organized people using only simple tools and technologies. The purpose of the ruins is unknown to us. It has no obvious practical purpose. It was not lived in and could not have been defended, so there must be a spiritual reason why Neolithic and Bronze Age people put so much effort into building it. It has been suggested that Stonehenge has been a burial ground from its earliest beginnings. The monument and its surroundings were added to the UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites in 1986. The Great Wall of China. Spreading through 15 Chinese provinces, principalities, and autonomous regions, the Great Wall of China is the longest man-made structure in the world. It is made up of a series of separate sections of walls and moats that were built over the course of 6 Chinese dynasties as a defense from invaders. The Great Wall is an awe-inspiring feat of ancient defensive architecture. Its winding path over rugged country and steep mountains takes in some great scenery. The wall was continuously built from the 3rd century BC to the 17th century AD. On the northern border of the country is the great military defense project of successive Chinese empires with a total length of more than 20,000 kilometers. The Great Wall begins in the east at Shenhaiguan in Hebei province and ends in Jiayin in Gansu province in the west. Its main body consists of walls, horse tracks, watchtowers, and shelters on the wall, and includes several impressive fortresses and passes. Due to natural erosion and human damage, about 2,000 kilometers of the Great Wall has disappeared or turned into a ruin. Interestingly, for those who wanted to attempt it, walking the entire length of the Great Wall of China would take approximately 18 months. Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Warriors, also known as the Terracotta Army, are an impressive collection of thousands of life-size soldiers and horses, located in Xi'an, China, near the tomb of Queen Shi Huangdi. There are around 600 underground pits dating back to the 3rd century BC. They were discovered by accident in the 1970s when the locals were digging for a well point. While many remain unexcavated, 3 of these pits are open to the public and are enclosed within the Museum of the Terracotta Army. Apart from the sheer volume, what's interesting about these clay soldiers is that every single face is unique. They were hand-carved with individual features and took around 40 years of craftsmanship in total. Angkor Wat, Cambodia. Derived from the Sanskrit word Nagara, Angkor means city. Once the capital of Khmer Empire between the 9th and the 15th centuries, it was a thriving ancient metropolis. Today, Angkor is most famous for its Hindu Angkor Wat temple that claims the title is the largest religious shrine on the earth. It's famously visited at sunrise when the lightning over the temples is simply magical. But Angkor Archaeological Park actually includes many more fascinating landmarks aside from Angkor Wat. Over 1,000 temples lie scattered throughout the forests, rice fields, and the farmlands. Highlights include the jungle-clad and the mystery Dangmilya temple, with its early library and well-preserved carvings, and the 12th century Bayon temple that marks the historical center of the ancient city of Angkor Thom. Angkor Wat is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is Asia's most famous archaeological site and the principal drawcard of the Kingdom of Cambodia for many savvy tourists from around the globe. It has become the largest known pre-industrial settlement, spanning a site roughly equivalent to nowadays Paris. It was believed that the Khmer king had a divine role, and an appropriate temple had to be constructed by each king to consecrate the symbolic relationship between the ruler and the divinity. The site comprises dozens of iconic temples, including Angkor Wat itself. Giza Pyramids, Egypt. One of the most mysterious ancient sites on the earth. The pyramids of Giza in Cairo are truly fascinating. Created as enormous tombs for the pharaohs of ancient Egypt in the 4th dynasty, there's plenty of speculation as to how they were built. With such precise and immaculate detail, they are yet another remarkable feat of ancient Egyptian engineering. In fact, many believe they were built by angels or even aliens. Visitors can pay to enter all 3 of the Great Pyramids. They were used as burial chambers and were littered with treasure for the pharaoh to use in the afterlife, something that attracted many a grave robber over the years. Egypt's pharaohs expected to become gods in the afterlife. Each pyramid is a part of a much larger complex including a palace, temples, solar boat pits, and other features. The site also includes the remains of many smaller temples and settlements, which are invaluable for understanding ancient Egyptian life in this area. Don't forget to get a kissing photo with the Sphinx. It's pretty much mandatory. Machu Picchu, Peru. A huge tick off the travel bucket list. Machu Picchu is one of the most famous cities of the ancient Incan Empire. This historical fortress lies hidden in the mountains of Peru. So well hidden, in fact, that it was never founded by Spanish invaders when they arrived in the 1500s. They were only found in 1911 by an explorer called Bingham, and even this was by accident. He was actually tracing another city known as Vilcabamba. A wonder of advanced engineering, it's estimated that 60% of the construction was built underground, mainly for fortification and drainage. This Inca city is divided into 2 large sectors: the agriculture sector with an extensive network of terraces and the urban sector with fine structures including the Sun Temple. The intensely green terraces and the imposing mountains surrounding the site combine to create a stunning landscape which surpasses visitors' expectations. No matter how many times you have seen a photograph of the iconic Inca ruins, nothing prepares you for the sense of awe that this magical place elicits in its Andes mountain setting, clinging as it does to rock and jungle. Today, these walled ruins can only be reached by foot or by train. Don't miss the secret Machu Picchu Museum for an insider's look into the lost city of the Incas. Mesa Verde, Colorado. Deep in the American Southwest, you'll find Mesa Verde National Park, with its fascinating collection of 600 ancient cliff-top dwellings. The most famous of these dwellings is the Cliff Palace, built into an enormous sandstone alcove that's protected it from the elements for over 7 centuries. It's the largest of its kind in North America, and unlike the rest of the dwellings that contain just a few rooms for residential purposes, the palace had over 150 rooms and 23 sacred kivas. Having been lived in for close to a century, these unusual cliffside villages were suddenly abandoned in the 13th century. Nobody really knows why. Today, around 4,800 archaeological sites dating back to 550 AD can be found in Mesa Verde, some of which are open to the public. It is the largest archaeological preserve in the United States. Masada, Israel. The ancient fortress of Masada is possibly one of the most impressive ruins on the planet. Perched on a cliff top overlooking the Judean desert and the Dead Sea in Israel, the site is hauntingly beautiful. Dating back over thousands of years, it was built as a palace of King Herod. It had modern creature comforts such as a bathhouse and even private swimming pools. More famously, the enormous fortification saw the last stand of the Jewish revolt, who chose death over a life of Roman slavery. Today, the military camps and the battlements are the best preserved examples of Roman siege works in the history. 2 pathways lead to the top, and while grueling in the beating sun, the views are worth it. Pompeii, Italy. The airy ruins of the Pompeii can be found near the Italian city of Naples. When the iconic Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD, it destroyed the Roman city in waves of lava and took the lives of over 2,000 residents along with it. The ancient city, first discovered by accident beneath the volcanic rock in the 1950s, is remarkably well preserved. However, it wasn't until 2 decades later that it was properly excavated. And to this day, 22 of the original 66 acres have not been unearthed. You can walk down the streets of these ancient Roman ruins and imagine the town as it was in its heyday. There are remains of stone houses, temples, bakeries, and even a brothel. Colosseum, Rome. One of the most iconic Roman ruins, the Colosseum was an ancient gladiator arena. Unveiled in the 80 AD, the 50,000-seater amphitheater was used for staging various events. These included animal fights and the bloodthirsty gladiator contests, where contestants would fight to the death. The architecture of the Colosseum is impressive, even by today's standards. The outer walls are made up of 3 levels of archways topped with Ionic, Doric, and Corinthian columns. In its heyday, they were decorated with travertine and marble statues. The top level once supported an enormous awning that sheltered spectators from the elements. Today, you can explore the Colosseum itself or combine it with a visit to the nearby Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. So, that's all for today's video. I hope that you liked it. If so, then please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. So this is me taking your leave from factsside. Thank you so much for tuning into our channel by providing your precious time and hearing us out. And you can also suggest a topic to be turned into a video in the comment section. Till then, bye bye, take care, see you in the next video.